The Walkers aren't the only threat in Manhattan anymore. Power is shifting, alliances are breaking, and both Maggie and Negan are walking straight back into the belly of the beast. From underground methane schemes to political power plays and a teenage son hiding deadly secrets, Season 2 of Dead City wastes no time turning up the heat in a frozen apocalypse. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. In this breakdown of Episode 1, we're diving into every twisted development. How New Babylon is forcing Maggie's hand, why Negan's being used as a weapon again, and what that creepy smile from Herschel might really mean. If you thought Season 1 was intense, buckle up, because the war for Manhattan is just getting started. Jenny! The Croat and the Dama light up the city. The premiere wastes no time reintroducing us to the major players. Maggie is now back at the Bricks, a small but thriving community outside Manhattan. Though they've survived the winter, the looming cold threatens the next harvest. Maggie remains a pillar of strength among her people, but emotionally, she's distant from her son Herschel, who has changed since his time in Manhattan. Herschel's trauma is subtle but unmistakable. His missing toe, a gruesome souvenir from the Dama, remains a physical reminder of the horrors he endured. Maggie notices the emotional wall he's built, but she doesn't push. There's tension between them. Guilt on her part, resentment on his. Yet a glimmer of their bond returns when she tells him a childhood story. For a brief moment, he smiles. It's a fragile truce between a mother and a son, torn apart by the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Negan has spent the past year imprisoned by the Croat and the Dama. Gone is the smirking rogue. In his place is a man who's lost everything, except maybe his pride. Reduced to eating cockroaches in a cell, Negan's existence is bleak, but not entirely joyless. He shares a strange camaraderie with a violinist who plays him music through the bars. In this hellish world, beauty is rare and unexpected. But the calm doesn't last. The New Babylon Federation crashes into Maggie's world like a hammer. Once a protector of Hilltop's independence, Maggie is now trapped in a political web she can't escape. New Babylon has cut off the Bricks trade, forcing them into an alliance, and now they're here to collect on the deal. Their mission: reclaim Manhattan and its methane supply, under the guise of rebuilding civilization.
There's the first wave. The conscripts, just a bunch of fucking guinea pigs.
Negan's return to power. Governor Charlie Bird, Major Lucia Narvaez, and newly promoted Colonel Pearlie Armstrong arrive looking more like enforcers than saviors. With cold eyes and veiled threats, they demand conscripts from the Bricks. Maggie immediately senses the truth. This isn't a rebuilding effort. It's an occupation. New Babylon needs fuel, desperately. Their corn-based ethanol is failing. Without Manhattan's methane, their vision of restoring the old world crumbles. Maggie's fury simmers beneath the surface. She's been here before, watched the Commonwealth mask tyranny behind good intentions. This time, she refuses to let others pay the price. When Colonel Pearlie, her reluctant ally, warns that she's a prime candidate for the draft, she offers herself up willingly, on one condition: no one else from the Bricks has to go. It's a move that echoes her past leadership, sacrificing herself for the greater good. While Maggie prepares to return to Manhattan, Negan is once again being used as a weapon. The Croat and the Dama need to unite the city's most dangerous factions to form an army. Their goal? Stop New Babylon before it ever sets foot in Manhattan. But they have no army, just empty ambition. That's where Negan comes in. The Dama knows his weakness and exploits it perfectly. She reveals she has his family. Just like that, the man who had given up is back in the game, back at the Bricks. The ideological clash continues. New Babylon's historian Pierce tries to convince the locals that reclaiming New York is about art, beauty, and civilization, but Herschel isn't buying it. He calls out the illusion, parroting the Dama's beliefs that the city is better left as a graveyard of the past. His bitterness speaks volumes, shaped by his silent pain and disillusionment. To Maggie, it's clear someone got into his head, but he won't admit it. Pearlie, caught in the middle, opens up to Maggie. He admits he never killed Negan, even though New Babylon thinks he did. His disillusionment mirrors Maggie's. The two find common ground in their distrust of the system and in their understanding of sacrifice. They're pawns in a larger game, but Maggie refuses to let that be the end of her story. The episode's centerpiece is the conscription trial, a brutal walker pit where volunteers must prove they're worth 20 soldiers. Maggie steps in, Surprisingly, so does Ginny, the mute girl who has slowly begun to find her voice. Neither Maggie nor Pearlie wants her involved, but Ginny insists. Her motivation? Likely revenge. Her father's death still lingers, and her connection to Negan is complicated. In the pit, they fight hard. It's messy, chaotic, and bloody, but they survive. They've earned their passage to Manhattan. On the other side of the city, Negan returns to form. In a twisted version of diplomacy, he addresses the leaders of Manhattan's deadliest factions at a post-apocalyptic marketplace. This isn't a council, it's a fight club. The arena is filled with brutality and distrust. The Croats' promise of unity falls on deaf ears. Negan knows words won't be enough. He makes a statement by electrocuting a man named Christos, who refuses to join. It's shocking, literally, and it works. These aren't people who respond to hope. They respond to power. The electricity, symbolic and literal, is the new Lucille. It represents control. The Croat may be the brain, but Negan is still the showman. With one act of violence, he reignites fear and respect. Slowly, the city begins to listen.
Anyone intending to enlist, step up to the corral.
The war for Manhattan begins. Back at the Bricks, Maggie faces personal fallout. Herschel accuses her of going to Manhattan because of Negan. Whether out of guilt or vengeance, he believes she can't let the past go. It's unfair and painful, but it's also real. Teenagers lash out, and Maggie has no easy answers. Meanwhile, Ginny makes her stance clear. She's not a child anymore. She doesn't need saving, and she certainly doesn't want Maggie acting like her mother. As Maggie prepares to leave, she finally tries to bridge the gap with Herschel. She asks about the Dama's drawing. He lies, calling her just a billboard woman, but the truth hangs heavy in the air. Before she leaves, they share a heartfelt moment, a fragile promise to pick up where they left off. He doesn't stop her, but when she's gone, he looks at a sketch of Manhattan burning and smiles. It's eerie. Is he finally letting go, or is the Dama still whispering in his ear? Season 2's premiere masterfully sets the board. Maggie and Negan are on parallel paths back to Manhattan. One is driven by duty, the other by desperation. The Dama and the Croats seek to weaponize the city's chaos. New Babylon wants to colonize it under the banner of progress, and caught in the middle are the broken survivors. Ginny, Herschel, Pearlie, each trying to make sense of a world that never stops taking. This isn't just a war for resources. It's a war for identity, for control, for legacy. The methane is just the spark. What comes next will be explosive. Our nerdy thoughts. Season 2 is already diving deep into complex power plays, fractured relationships, and the haunting weight of past choices. Maggie's stepping into the fire once again. Negan is reclaiming his brutal legacy, and the shadow of the Dama looms larger than ever. Whether you're here for the intense action, emotional storylines, or just watching these two unlikely allies try to save what's left of the world, this season promises chaos, conflict, and a whole lot of Walker carnage. Let us know in the comments. What did you think of the premiere? Is Maggie doing the right thing by going back to Manhattan? And do you trust Negan's new role as a leader? Or is he just being used all over again? If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more Dead City updates every week, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode recap. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there, because in the world of The Walking Dead, no one stays dead for long.